Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Cool Colas here to bring you the hustler's perspective. I got an interesting topic for you guys today. I'm going to tell you about some of the things that I have learned from doing rideshare, which would be Uber and Lyft. If you guys like wanted specifics on which ones I've done. So the things that I'm going to tell you about are going to be related to the lessons that I've learned as I done it, and the things that actually can kind of help me in like real world actual skills, and then just things that I didn't know before prior to doing rideshare. It's gonna kind of like give those examples for you, so you'll be able to maybe take it with you if you're able to, if you decide that you want to do Uber and Lyft. But anyway, so you probably are wondering, other than what I said, why I picked such a topic. I kind of wanted to reflect on my own experiences and talk to you all about some of the reasons why I felt that it would be an ideal side hustle for you, and then how some of the things that I've done can be like beneficial for you if you, like I said, if you decide to do it. I wanted to reflect on some of the things that like were very beneficial for me and that were positive that I learned from doing rideshare all the time, and I also want to prepare others for understanding what it takes to be a rideshare driver as well too, especially if you're going to be one who's going to do it for an extended period of time. I also wanted to help others have a plan of how they were going to go about that process, and as far as what they were going to do. So let's kind of get into it here. I'll tell you about some of the lessons that I learned. So the first thing is you must become good at reading people. So you must know when you need to talk to people, when you don't need to talk to people, when you should correct people if what they're doing is not really pleasing to you, or it's not something that you can actually do legally, and you need to be able to watch actions. And the reason why this is important is because a lot of times this can affect your ratings. If your ratings go too low, then you have the possibility of being what's the word I'm looking for? You have the possibility of being, I guess, deactivated. That's what I was looking for, deactivated. So when you talk to people, you have to kind of study the person who is in front of you. You have to know if that person is kind of just wants to kind of keep to themselves. And if you see them on their phone, like you can kind of look in your like mirror. Like if you see them on their phone, I usually wouldn't bother somebody like that, because chances are they don't really want to talk. They just want to kind of like take care of business or do whatever they're doing without too much conversation. Then you have to at least be polite, in the very beginning. You have to be able to just greet them, and then ask them how they're doing and things like that. So that's really like a given. But as far as anything extra to that, just see how the conversation flows, and see if people are kind of like receptive to the conversation that you give them. Because some people will come out and they'll just speak to you because they want to have a conversation with their driver. And then some people, they just, like I said, they don't want to talk. And you, like I said, run the risk of, if you talk too much, having people rate you low because of the fact that they felt you talk too much. I know that this sounds really petty. I know it does, but you really have to be careful, and it kind of helps you to just read people in real life in general. Just read their emotions and possibly be empathetic to those emotions as well too, and how they're responding and how they're coming off. And it's important for you to watch like their kind of body language. And it's also important for you, like I said, to respond and correct people when necessary as well too. Like for example, like you should know like when someone is like has like a special request. Like for example, they say, hey, I need it's going to be myself, and they call you and they say, hey, it's going to be myself and my kid, or just my kid, and they're going to school or whatever it is. If you have like a really young kid, they need a car seat. There's no getting past that. They need to have a car seat. And if you have a kid who wants to go by themselves to go to school, a parent who wants to do that, then it's obvious that you can't do that, because you can't have a minor in the car with you when without adult supervision. So that's another no. That's something that you definitely don't do. So like I said, you have to be good at reading people and knowing when to correct people, when to talk, when not to talk. And I'll tell you right now, I'll say something to somebody. I'll say, hello, how are you doing? And at the point where I feel their body language is saying they don't really want to talk, I don't say anything else to them. I'll just say have a good day once the ride is over, and then that's it. But if they want to have a conversation, I absolutely would. And it's funny because I even had some woman in the car with me before come to me and say, it's just kind of weird with, Uber drivers. Like, sometimes they just don't know when to talk, or they don't know when to not talk. And I'm thinking, like, lady, like, you're really digging like too deep into this. But the truth of the matter is that, it's a big part of your job as an Uber driver to understand when that point is necessary and when that point is. And she was telling me, like, I did a good job of it. Like, I know when to, say stuff and when I don't. And I'm like, I mean, that's just what I do with everybody, ma'am. It's not, about me trying to like overly impress someone, or me also trying to just say, hey, I'm having a bad day, so I'm taking it out on you. I just read people's vibes, and they kind of just tell me how I should respond. So that's a really important lesson. Always remember that. Know when to and not to speak. Most of the time, I would say, like, let it lead. Let the rider lead it. Second point, if you are not a people person, you might as well not do this. That's just the honest truth. Because you're going to be dealing with people all the time. Sometimes you'll deal with quiet people. Sometimes you'll deal with noisy people. Sometimes you'll deal with rude people. Sometimes you'll deal with very polite people. The point is that if you're the fact that you're dealing with a lot of people, if you're an introverted person, or a person who just does not like having to hold conversations or even force a conversation, this is absolutely not for you. And it's not because you're going to be doing this for pretty much the entire side hustle. And if you're doing it all day, or if you're doing it like, part of the day or whatever it is. The point of the matter is that, like, if you don't really want to be bothered, that energy is going to be felt by the person who's the rider. And again, that may sound like kind of like I'm going too deep into it, but I'm really not. And the reason why I say this is because, again, it could affect your ratings, because then someone could say that you weren't very friendly, or you weren't very polite, or so on and so forth. So it's important to just understand, like, that if you are not a people person, that this is something that could be just not a good fit for you. Okay, so the third point that I got here is try to use this opportunity to build connections. For me, this was a big one because I met a lot of people doing Uber and Lyft. I met a lot of people who I was able to talk to kind of about my own stuff, like where I was able to talk to them about my like videos and my blog posts and things like that, and other people who were telling me about their other passions as well, and they were saying, hey, maybe in the future we could collaborate on this or that. So, I had a lot of that happen, and it's a good opportunity for you to do the same, because you never know who's going to end up in your car. You never know if you're going to meet somebody who's the CEO of some company that you're interested in, and then maybe you want a business card to contact them later, or you meet somebody who's I guess a liaison for helping you to find the right business connections to, I don't know, make a business plan, or to create a strategy, or doing the same thing that you're doing. Or you just don't know, like, who you could meet and who you could connect with, and the possible friendships that you could build from those connections. So always take the opportunity to network. A lot of people always talk about networking as it relates to a job, or as it relates to when you go to school, when you go to college, and so on and so forth. But take this as another networking opportunity. And this one could be a big one because your pool is so large. When you're in school, your pool is of people who are doing all the same stuff that you're doing. You all are students. You all are in school trying to get a degree. So essentially, you're gonna just network with other students and possibly just build friendships and maybe join some orgs here and there. But this is a totally different horizon, because you're looking to meet business people. You're looking to meet people who you could be partners with, or people who know people who could help you out, or people who may have job contacts, or maybe the job contact, or maybe like like I said, the owner of a company that you see yourself working for. So always keep that in mind, that it's all about building the network when you're an Uber driver. Just it's an opportunity to kind of kill two birds with one stone. I mean, you make money because you're driving, but you're also making business connections because you may be doing something different, and Uber may be like what you're doing in the meantime until you can build the business of your dreams, or get the job of your dreams, or whatever it is that you aspire to do. So that's another thing to think about. The fourth thing I have on this list is that you need to find your groove and how you deal with people making multiple stops. Because the honest to God truth on this one is this will annoy you. And it will annoy you because everybody always asks if they can make a stop here. Or can I make a stop at the gas station? Can I make a stop at McDonald's? Can I make a stop at Taco Bell? Whatever. The point is that you need to know how to deal with people like that. I'll tell you what I do. Personally, I'll hold on one second. I think your phone is going off. Sorry. No, you're good. But sorry about that. My fiance's phone was going off. But going forward, so you have to know how to find your way to deal with people. And me personally, this is how I deal with people. I will like say, hey, look, I'll stop at this place for you. And I just wanted to let you know that I have like about a 5-minute window of just waiting around if you want to go in and get what you need to get. But after that, I will have to go on to my next ride because as an Uber driver, I still have an obligation to pick up my other drivers and things like that. And I don't have get a lot of money from spending time just kind of like sitting around. And again, put it in your own words, but I say that like to be very transparent with them, let them know that, hey, my job as an Uber driver is to transport you from one destination to another, but that does not mean that I'm a chauffeur. That's really what you're saying in a nice way. So you're saying, hey, I can wait on you for a little bit, but I can't really like wait for a very long time, because people will do that and you won't make a lot of money from doing that. And that's just the truth. This is like your business and you're trying to make money from this business, so you can't sit there and wait. Everything is so loud in here. Anyway, you can't sit there and you can't like wait on other people, because people will be prone to be like 30 minutes and 20 minutes late if you let them. And then like you're just sitting outside and then you find that you only make like $5 or $4 from wasting all that time, and you could have just had back-to-back rides and just got rides here and there, and and made a lot more money doing that. So just find your groove. Like I said, don't let people push you around in that extent where they feel like they can just go here and there, and then you can just do it for them and all this other stuff, and they're not really considerate about how that affects you and your time and your money. Like I said, make sure that you are very transparent with them, but also very polite when you say that to people. So that's that one. So let's go on to the fifth one. So the next one is rushing to surges can be a waste of time and gas. I cannot stress the importance of this enough. When there's a surge or a prime time, because it's prime time for Lyft, it's surge for Uber, that comes up, one thing that you're going to have to do is realize that if you're not in that area or close to that area, it is not worth rushing to that other area, because chances are, as soon as you rush to the surge, it could go away. And even if you get to the surge, that does not mean that you're going to end up getting a surge ride. So what you need to do is, whenever you are trying to, whenever you see a surge, you should honestly go and you should wait to see if you're actually in that area. Now, if you're in that area, it can be beneficial to you. And even if you do rush to it, and you got to realize this, even if you do rush to it and you do get to that surge, your surge may be like times 1.2. So, and that could have been like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes out of the way. It's not worth it, because then you may get like a $5 fare, and then it's times 1.2, which is not going to be that much, because they're still going to take their commission out of whatever you're making as well too. So it's not going to be much more than it would be if you didn't have a surge at all. So just keep that in mind. Surges can be big in some instances though, like for example, if there's events going on like Halloween or New Year's Eve or things like that, your surges can be like times 9, which at that point, of course, it absolutely makes a difference, but chances are you'll be in a downtown area where you're able to hit that surge. But other than that, I would not even try to rush to a surge. It just is not worth it. Just trust me on that one. So again, I would say like continue to drive and do what you're doing. If you see a surge like that's 7, 8, 9 minutes away, just stay where you're at. Don't waste the gas, because you don't even know if you're actually going to get a ride. So I would just kind of think about it like that, and just just continue doing what you're doing and let it throw you off. So the next thing is this is point number 6. You need to invest in a dash cam and air fresheners, and here is why. You need to invest in a dash cam because of the fact of safety reasons. What a dash cam does essentially is it allows you to record whatever is going on while you're in your drive. So you could have somebody, and there's been videos on this all the time. There's like videos of people who like get belligerent or they get very rude or rowdy in someone's car, and then like the police may have to get involved and you have to kick them out and things like that. And you need a dash cam to be able to record those things and whatnot. So in my personal opinion, I would say invest in it because of the fact that you just never know what could happen. You never know if someone could try to attack you. And what I mean by attack is physically with a weapon, even verbally while you're trying to throw them out, and you need proof, because what's going to happen is like they may try to report you to Uber and then say, hey, you did this and you did that, and you need your proof right there so you can prove to Uber and you could prove to police if they need to be involved that this is what had taken place and this is what my rider did. Because here's the thing. As Uber drivers, we are put in the most danger. It doesn't matter what happened with the Kalamazoo shooter, because a lot of people are like, oh, there was this Kalamazoo maniac and he went around and he was driving for Uber and he was shooting people and things like that. Here's the thing. One, he got caught. Two, his information is on file. So any rider who he puts in danger, they know his name and his information and things like that. Now, here's why it's more dangerous for a driver, because as riders, the only thing that we know is your name. We don't know, and then you all have that possibility of putting somebody else in the car who is not of your name. So we only have your name. We don't have any of your information or anything else like that. We don't know if you're felons. We don't know if you're someone who was prone to do kind of sneaky things, who steals things. And we wouldn't know stuff like that, because all you have to do as a rider is sign up, and then you can get a ride anywhere. So I could be picking up a mass murderer and not even know it. I could. But as far as me being a driver, I can't be a mass murderer driver. So this is what this tells me, because there's a background check that's done before, you sign up for Uber. What this tells me is that guy who in Kalamazoo, Michigan, who was going around and was shooting people, who actually weren't even riders. That's the funny thing about it. He was shooting like bystanders at like a Cracker Barrel and then some other people that he saw. But the point is that what this tells me is that he probably did not have a criminal record or a crazy criminal record before driving for Uber. Now, of course, he has a felony because he killed a bunch of people. But I mean, the point of the matter is that he didn't have that before. So really, we're in a lot more danger than a rider is. The riders really are actually don't really have much to worry about, because really what happened with that driver was a freak accident. But with us, we could get our car stolen by a rider. We could get stabbed. We could get robbed. And I'm not saying this to be negative. I'm just being very honest. And my point is stressing why we need a dash cam. I mean, there was a video and there was a guy and he was in the car and there was this chick, and she was really mad at the guy because of the fact that I guess she wanted to go somewhere and she was being rude the entire time, and he was about to put her out of the car, and she was talking about how she was going to get her boyfriend or her man or whoever to beat him down and to do all this stuff, and he was cool and chill the entire time. But guess what? He had that dash cam because he was showing the way she was acting, because she was sitting there yelling at him, cussing at him, threatening him. She was saying that she was gonna kick him with her foot and all this other stuff. She was doing all types of weird stuff. So that's what I'm saying. You get some of those wackos and things like that happen. And I think Uber did something they offered him a lifetime supply of the carrier cases, and I'm like, okay, he only needs one. So I mean, thanks for the gift. But you get my point. I'm not trying to get on a tangent. I'm just saying you need a dash cam. You also need air fresheners. And here's the reason why you need air fresheners, because some people who get in your car, they stink. Let's just be honest. They smell like a mix of sewer and a skunk just sprayed the town. There's some people who get in your car and they smell like that. Smell like they haven't bathed in about 5 months. And the thing about it is that you are going to have to roll down your windows, because you're going to have to try to get that smell to exit, especially if you're going from person to person picking them up. And air fresheners are important because not even just because like you want your nose to feel good, but also because of the fact that what tends to happen is people tend to get upset if they if like they have like there's bad smells in the car that they're riding in. So you may have a rider who may not find that the smell that's like in the car is pleasant. They may hit you for that. They may tell you it stinks in here, so I'm just gonna rate you low. Because I've had people say before, hey, like I had there was a certain odor in the car and this and that, and I told them straight up, hey, look, I apologize. I'm in this car a long time, so it's hard for me to smell if there's another person who could have like stunk who was in here. There's people who come in and out of here, so if that made your ride unpleasant, I apologize, but it wasn't my intention to do that, nor is it my own body odor. So and again, that's not to explain yourself, because you don't really care about explaining yourself. You care about your ratings not getting hit because of the fact that that's the side hustle that you're doing, and that could affect you. So again, keep air fresheners in your car because it's going to help your nose, and your nose is going to thank you, and your other riders are going to thank you for it as well too. Well, they won't rate you low. I'll say that. Anyway, and actually they may tip you because they may feel like it was a really pleasant ride, so that could happen. So let's be optimistic here with that. The next thing is, do not wait for long periods of time for people. So in other words, like I kind of said it earlier about when you're like gonna wait on people as far as making stops and all that. If it's like 20 or 30 minutes, definitely don't wait that amount. Like if you're in the car and you're waiting on somebody to come back because they made a stop, after like 5 minutes, max 7, like I would call them up and I would say, hey, look, I have to go to my next ride. Are you almost done? And then if they're not, I would say, hey, I have to go, so I will have to just end this trip. And just keep it like that. Just keep it very professional. Keep it very polite. But ultimately, when I say do not wait on people for long periods of time, I'm speaking on when you're about to first pick them up. Here's the thing. When you are going to pick up somebody, Uber and Lyft both do this. They give that person 5 minutes, well, really 2 minutes before, like, if they cancel, they get charged, but 5 minutes before, like, you can cancel and they get charged and you get money for that. Don't wait on people for long periods of time, because they order the ride, they know what's going on. There's a notification text that comes to their phone to let them know that, hey, this person arrived from Uber or from Lyft. And there's no reason for them to not understand that or be checking their phone because they know that they're going somewhere. Like don't let people take advantage of you that way, because I've left many a person if they didn't come out on time. I didn't feel bad about it. I did not apologize about it. And at the end of the day, I felt pretty good, because my thing is, you're taking advantage of my time as a driver if I'm coming to pick you up and you know that you're supposed to be getting in my car. So again, like, do not wait for people. Collect your money if it's after 5 minutes. For Uber, you get like I think it's like $3.60, which sucks because they take a commission out of your late payment. That's just a ripoff. But Lyft actually gives you your whole $5. If it was a scheduled ride, you get $10 because they have scheduled rides. But that's just the fare that you'll get if you after 5 minutes. Now, and this is when you first pick them up. I'm not talking about when you're already on the ride, but when you first pick them up. Now, here's point number 8. Do not hover at the airport for rides. First of all, I can't really speak on other airports because other airports have different rules. Some of them are more strict than others. I'll tell you about the Grand Rapids, Michigan market and what I've experienced. It has gotten so bad you actually cannot get a ping at all at the airport if you're doing Uber. You can't get a ping at all. Like, so what tends to happen too is that the people who are at the airport, they get really like finicky if you as an Uber driver decide that you're going to just sit at the airport. They get really finicky and they get really like, oh, like you gotta move, oh, you can't sit here, and they're like damn near chasing your car if you decide that you're going to sit there to try to wait for people. Even if you already got your ride and you're trying to pick someone up, they'll still chase your car and say, hey, you can't wait here, you got to be on the other side. So for me, I just started going on the other side of the airport, because with Grand Rapids Airport, there are two like sides to it. There's one side where like people are coming out, and there's another side where I think you can just like go into the airport or whatever. They make you wait on the side where people are like going into the airport. So all the people who are coming out, they're on the totally opposite side and they have to walk over to you. Yeah, that's a pain in the butt, but that's kind of like how their rules work. So with the airports, just understand that there's something weird going on with the taxis and the airports because they don't really like Uber drivers to be around. They don't like Uber drivers trying to hound and definitely don't like them trying to solicit. So, you got to pick a good location that you can kind of wait where you can possibly get airport pings. For us and for how we were in the Grand Rapids market, we would wait by, there was a Wendy's kind of like around the corner. It was maybe like 2 or 3 minutes away. We would wait at the Wendy's and then there would be like a line. So they would have a queue and people who were in the queue would have to wait in line to seat to make sure that they got a ride. And that's kind of how it went. So again, with airport rides, just be very careful because you could get kicked out and there may be worse punishment. So just be mindful of finding your spot that you can wait at to get your pings. Point number 9, be careful of your pickup times and your distances because here's the bottom line. You could be spending more in gas and more in mileage going to get somebody than your actual ride. I've had times where I went out almost like 20 minutes, and this is just rookie mistakes because I didn't really know any better, to get a ride for the ride to go 5 minutes out the way. That was not worth it at all because then with me only going 5 minutes out the way, think about how much money I'm getting. I'm getting like $2 and I think it was like 70 cents for the ride because it didn't have that much mileage on it too. Because when you're doing Uber and Lyft, you're getting a lot more for the mileage that you're driving than you are for the minutes that you're driving. You're not getting paid at all for going to go pick somebody up. Here's my rule of thumb. You all may do it differently. I'm just telling you my rule of thumb because it may help, because hopefully it'll help you out. My rule of thumb is that if the ride exceeds 9 minutes, I don't usually do it unless it's just a dry day. I don't usually do it because that is way too far to go to pick up somebody for me to not know how far they're going because they don't really tell you where they're going to. And now there's this new trend that what people had started doing is they, as soon as they would pick up that ride, what they would do with people is they would call them and say, hey, where are you going? And the person would tell them where they're going. If they didn't like it, they would just cancel. And now riders are starting to pick up on the fact that people are doing that. Now, I understand that because riders are trying to get transported from one place to another. I can understand, the frustration in that. But I could also understand the frustration in the driver for like not knowing that, you're not going to know the destination of where you're taking that person to because you could be taking them into a war zone and not even know it. That's just the truth. And I can understand how that could be an issue for a first-time driver because you might not know that that's what's going on. You may think that you know the to and from, and you might even think that you're getting paid for going to go pick up the person, but you're not, and you're not knowing your like final destination. So I think that you just gotta kind of like think about stuff like that, like how far are you really going? And again, if it's a pickup like that, I just wouldn't do it if it's over 9 minutes because you're gonna spend more in gas and then you're gonna put miles on your car because of the fact that you're going to try to get a fare to pick up somebody, and that fare, like I said, could be $2, so it's not worth it. Next one I got: record everything that you can expense, and this is my last point. Gas, mileage to go get gas, equipment, which may mean dash cams, which may mean like phone holders for while you're in the car, which could mean air fresheners, which could also mean maybe you have like a little bucket, for like if people like throw up in your car or whatever. I mean, like some of you all may not even do that nighttime driving. I didn't because I didn't want to deal with all that. But but you may have that. My point is that anything that you use for the purpose of work, that as an independent contractor, that it can help you in that way, is an expense that can be written off. Make sure you record those things. Get an app. I have Mile IQ, and I also have another one. Hold on, I'm gonna check it out for you right here because I don't know the exact name of the app. I know I use it all the time though, and it's to the point now where Stride Drive. You can use that one as well too. That's another good one. Everlance, that's another good one that can record all of your gas, all of your mileage, and everything that's related to you and your ride. So then there's that as well. And again, you're gonna pay taxes on everything that you do as an Uber everything you earn as an Uber driver or a Lyft driver. And you're gonna need like those expenses to kind of write off and push off all that tax that you're gonna have to pay from everything that you earn. So make sure that you do it as much as you can possibly, because it's really going to, affect whether or not you're paying or you get paid. So keep that in mind. Anyway, so that's all I got for you guys today. I just wanted to kind of give you some of my experiences and some of the lessons that I learned to try to help you all out. So with that being said, I want you all to kind of check out some of the, things that I have that are going to kind of give you the latest and greatest details of everything with this channel. First thing I want you all to go ahead and check out is the Hustler's Perspective YouTube channel. If you guys want to see blog posts, because they'll be coming up pretty soon as well too, you can go to thehustlersjackpot.com. If you guys would like to go to my Facebook page for my YouTube channel, you can go to the Hustler's Perspective YouTube channel. If you want to see updates from my actual blog, you can go to the Hustler's Jackpot on Facebook. If you guys want to see updates from my Instagram page for this particular entity, you can go to the Hustler's Jackpot. And if you guys want to just follow my personal page, you can go to @Coolcolas. With that being said, I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys enjoyed the material that I had for you and learned something and possibly help you out if you guys decide that you want to get on the road and do rideshare just like I did. That being said, I will see you all later. Keep hustling.